Everyone, welcome to Flow with Jess. Today we're going to flow into Pisces season, into some watery emotions, closing of chapters, letting go, and planting seeds. Because you have to water the seeds for them to grow, and Pisces is all water. So you can go ahead and lay out your mat, and we'll get started. When I was thinking about what I wanted to share with everyone today, I've just been really reflecting on what does closing chapters look like, and also being mindful of our actions and are we doing the things that we've intended to do. A lot of you have shared with me your intentions on being in this space, in this private yoga community, and so many of them have the same baseline, which is to make time for yourself and to get connected with yourself, which is yoga. Yoga is getting connected with yourself and your inner disciplines, and so that you can also be connected with the world around you and the disciplines we practice in the world around us. So today, my intention for you as you move and breathe is to be mindful. Be mindful of what you're paying attention to. Be mindful of staying grounded in your intention. There's so many distractions around us all the time, and it can be really easy to get lost in the hustle and bustle, in distractions, in the regular habitual things that you do. And when we're making change, we have to pay attention to not continue in those patterns, right? And you're doing it already. You've started a new pattern by being in this space. This is something that you're paying attention to by showing up on your mat. So yeah, we'll get started right away. Today, to get started, you can come into just a Sukhasana, like crisscross legs. You might bring a block underneath your sit bones, or maybe a bolster or a blanket to make your hips higher than your knees. And as you land here in crisscross, whatever that might look like for you, you can choose. Perhaps you close down the windows of your eyes if that feels safe, or maybe you just bring your gaze to one unmoving spot out in front of you. And as you do that, you might decide also how your hands land wherever you are in your part of the day. I always want to say morning. Wherever you are, the palms might come down to feel nice and grounded, palms open to receive. Perhaps you bring your hands over your heart if that's where your attention needs to be today. Again, being really mindful of exactly what it is that you need in this moment from this practice. So with hands somewhere along the body, eyes closed or gaze towards the earth, let's start to take some inventory of exactly how you are landing right now in this moment. You might notice how your body feels. Are there any little sticky spots or points of interest that you might send some of your attention to? And then noticing the mind stuff. Where are the thoughts right now? Just seeing them, acknowledging whatever's going on up there. Maybe giving yourself some permission to let that go for the next 30 minutes. Set it down beside your mat, leave it there, knowing you'll come back to it when you're ready. And then start to notice your breath, the rhythm of your inhales and your exhales moving through the nose. Are they unrushed, unhurried? Maybe they're a little bit faster paced. Again, just noticing. Mindful of how your nervous system has been this week. And then let's start to invite in some 3-part breaths. So that's on your next inhale, noticing how your belly fills, your ribs flare out, and then pulling your breath all the way up into your heart. Exhaling without pausing, emptying out from your heart, and then your ribs as you draw your belly button in towards your spine. So deep inhale to fill up, belly, ribs, and heart. Exhale to let something go, heart, ribs, belly. Beautiful. Let's do 2 more just like that. Deep inhale to fill up your belly, your ribs, and your heart. Exhale from your heart and then your ribs, emptying out all the way from your belly. Last one, moving at your own pace, filling all the way up. And then exhaling, let something go. Stay exactly as you are, but return to your regular rhythm of breathing. As I mentioned at the start, my invitation to you today is to be mindful of how your energy is spent and to get mindfully grounded in exactly what it is you need at the end of this astrological calendar in Pisces season. What do you need to let go of? What chapters are you closing? What are you making room for? As I mentioned, we have to water the seeds. We're going to plant seeds at the end of this season with the new moon. We're going to plant some intentions of what we're inviting in this new astrological year. So again, mindful of what are you letting go of and what are you making room for. You might invite in a mantra as we practice today. You might say to yourself, I am releasing, fill in the blank. I am inviting, fill in the blank. Just before we start to move, I'll offer you one quote from Carly Marie. She says, I am grounded. My spirit is grounded deep in the earth. I am calm, strong, centered, and peaceful. I am able to let go of fear and trust that I am eternally safe. I am worthy of all things beautiful. And with that, we'll start to move the body. You might choose to keep your eyes closed if that feels nice and grounding for you, keeping you centered on your intention right now. Or you can blink open the windows of your eyes if you'd like. You can bring the palms of your hands onto your thighs if they're not already there. And then our next inhale, we're going to start to circle towards one knee, come all the way around, and then circle back. Inhales to draw you forward. Exhales to round you back. Think about moving fluidly here, like you're swirling a glass of water. We're working with that Pisces watery energy, so slow, fluid movements are best. And then start to switch the direction of your circles. Exhaling as you come back, inhaling to come forward. Take 2 more. Just like that. You start to come all the way through center, and we'll do that same fluid movement through your neck. So inhales to draw towards one shoulder, exhales towards the other. Maybe start to invite in full circles, chin coming all the way up towards the ceiling and back around. You can start to even out, switching, coming into the other direction now. Exhaling to come down, inhaling to come up, and then take one last round before you find stillness. And as you find stillness, you can start to walk your hands out in front of you or come onto one hip. We're going to make our way into tabletop, so our all fours position. Always welcome to bring a blanket beneath your knees here. And spread the fingers out wide, pushing down between all of the fingertips as we dome through the back. Have our knees stacked underneath our hips. A few rounds of cat-cow to warm up the spine. So inhales, drop your belly, lift your gaze, lift your hips. Exhale to round, doming your upper back. Gaze might come towards your thighs. So inhale, draw you forward. Exhale to round and dome. Moving with breath here, consciously. You can start to activate Ujjayi breath. That's a slight constriction in the back of your throat, making your inhales and exhales audible. Your anchor into your practice, that ocean wave moving through your body, carrying your emotions. Feel into all of them here. Give yourself space. Find stillness. And then bring your knees out wide, toes to touch. And bring your hips down and back as you extend your arms out in front of you. You're always welcome to bring a block or something supportive underneath your forehead. Take one breath here at center. And then on your next inhale, start to walk your hands up and over towards the right hand side of your mat. As you send your hips down towards the left, a lateral stretch through the spine. We start every class with waking up the spine. There's 6 movements that the spine makes. It's really important that before we start to heat things up, we make sure the spine is nice and warm. You can come back through center and then start to walk your hands towards the other side. Deep inhales and exhales moving through your nose. Start to come all the way back through center. Inhale, pull yourself up, coming into tabletop. And then you can come back into Sukhasana, so that's crisscross seat, or maybe you stay up onto your knees. You can bring a blanket underneath them for some extra cushion. Wherever you find yourself, you can inhale to bring your hands up overhead. Exhale, you're going to draw your left arm across your lap as your right hand comes behind you, maybe landing the earth, finding a block, or resting onto your heel. On your inhale, you want to get really tall all the way up through the crown of your head. Then exhale, you're going to guide your ribs, twist, guide your twist leading from your ribs. Gaze might come over that back right shoulder. Next inhale, come all the way up through center, reach, maybe look up. Exhale to switch sides, left hand coming behind you, this time right hand coming across your lap. Again, inhales draw you up from your pelvic bowl to the crown of your head. Exhales, you're guiding your twist gently from your ribs. Gaze might come over that back left shoulder. Inhale, come all the way back up, lift through your hands, maybe your gaze lifts. Exhale to draw your hands down towards heart center. Maybe you find a little tuck of your chin here. Opportunity to feel what's flowing, to let go of what's not flowing. And then you can blink open the windows of your eyes, start to bring your hands down out in front of you, finding tabletop once more. And then you can tuck your toes, lift your hips, downward facing dog. Let's take 2 long breaths here. You might pedal out through your feet, waking up through the backs of your legs. You might wiggle the hips a little bit. You might bend really deeply into your knees as if they're almost going to touch your mat. On your exhale, bring your hips up and back as you sink your heels a little bit closer to your mat. Gaze might come towards your thighs as you let the weight of your head go. Take 1 inhale. Exhale, look towards the top edge of your mat, and you can take as many steps as you'd like to make your way up there. Once you find the top edge of your mat, find an inhale to come up halfway, hands come up the shins, gaze stays down, shoulders travel down your back. Exhale to bend into your knees, let the weight of your head go, forward fold. Inhale, come all the way up, root to rise, arms reach, maybe look up. Hands meet up over top. Exhale, draw them down towards heart center. Take 1 inhale and exhale here. Next, inhale, reach. Exhale to fold. As if you were water coming down a big fall. Inhale, halfway lift. Hands might come up towards the shins. Exhale, plant your hands, step one foot back, and then step your other foot back, finding plank. You can bring your knees down. And then on exhale, we're going to bend into the elbows, lowering down halfway or maybe all the way. You decide. If you're all the way down, you can untuck your hips, inhaling into low cobra. If you bend down halfway, you can straighten through the arms, top of the thighs, rooted into the earth, top of the feet rooted. Gaze might come up. Exhale to lower back down, coming through either tabletop or reverse push-up. You can tuck your toes, lift your hips, downward facing dog. Take 2 long breaths exactly as you are. You're always welcome to take child's pose when I offer down dog, as well as when I offer a vinyasa, which is what we just moved through. You can either take the vinyasa, perhaps you just take down dog, or perhaps you come straight to child's pose. Those are always choices you can make. On your next inhale, you can extend your right leg out behind you. Exhale, you're going to look forward as you step your right foot to the outside of your right hand. You can stay here with the back knee lifted, or maybe you lower the back knee down. And then you can stay here, bending into that right knee, opening up through your left hip, hands planted. Maybe you bring blocks underneath your hands, coming down onto your forearms. Maybe you bring forearms all the way down to the earth. We're not going to be here very long. We're just going to start to open up through the hips. Our hips is our sacral chakra. It is ruled by water. So since we're in the Pisces season, we're going to work with the hips a little bit today. Next inhale, if you're all the way down, start to push into one hand and then the other. You can heel toe that right foot in so that it's more towards the center of your mat. And then inhale, we're going to reach your hands up overhead, finding a low lunge. Your right hip might come slightly back as your left hip comes forward. So a sort of hinging action in the hips. We want our hips to be straight on as much as possible. And then we're going to tuck the ribs underneath if they're really flaring out. You can stay here. You can also bring your hands down towards your hips if that feels more grounding for you today. Perhaps you bring your right shoulder underneath your left, reaching for opposite elbows, Garudasana arms or eagle arms. Gaze is out in one unmoving spot in front of you. You can stay here in stillness. If you'd like to find a little bit of flow of movement, that watery sort of movement we're inviting in today. On your next inhale, you can start to reach your heart up as you come into a little bit of a back bend. And then exhale, you're going to lower down inside of that right knee. Inhales to draw you up. Exhale to lower down. So either stillness or flowing like fluid. You decide. How can you be mindful in what you need today? If you are moving, take one last round. And then come back through center. Unwrap, take your arms apart, bringing them out wide. And then you're going to take our left foot behind us. So you stay where you are. I'm going to flip so that I'm facing you. So your left foot is going to come behind you. And then you're going to bring your arms out wide. So we're kind of like in this low Vara 2, Warrior 2 position. So your hips are facing towards me, you're bending into that front knee, your arms are coming out nice and long beside you. Bring the shoulders down the back, maybe your gaze comes out over those front right fingertips. You can stay here just like this, in stillness. If you'd like to move, inhale to reach forward, flip your palm, exhale to sweep it on back. Maybe that back hand comes towards the earth, maybe it lands onto your calf or your hip. Take one breath here. Inhale to come all the way back through center. Exhale to land your front right forearm as you swing that left arm up and through. Maybe your gaze lifts towards those top fingertips as you shine your heart up towards the ceiling, opening through your chest. Staying connected with your breath. Inhale to come all the way back up. Exhale, you're going to windmill your hands to frame that front right foot. Coming onto the back left knee, bring it back in underneath you. You can come through here and go through tabletop. Maybe you tuck the left toes, lifting the left knee, sending your right foot back. Option for vinyasa here, from knees or toes, coming down halfway or all the way. Inhaling into high cobra or low cobra. Exhale, tuck your toes, lift your hips. Downward facing dog. Take 3 breaths right there. Stay exactly as you are, or come down to child's pose. Just grabbing some water. Okay, so we'll start to switch sides. On your next inhale, you can extend your left leg out behind you. Exhale, look forward, step your left foot up in between your hands. You can help it get there, actually not between your hands, to the left edge of your mat. And then you can stay here, lift it onto the right toes, maybe bring the right knee down. You can stay here just like this, bending into your left knee. Maybe you come down to forearms or blocks, releasing the weight of your head. Opening up through our right hip this time. You might even invite some gentle watery movements here through the right hip, just kind of rocking back and forth onto those left outer edge of your left foot. Being mindful of what you're feeling. Are you stirring anything through your hips? Pay attention to your thoughts. If you're all the way down, on your next inhale, you can press into one hand and then the other. And heel to toe that left foot back towards the middle of your mat. You can set any props out to the side, and then we'll come up into a low lunge. So you can stay here, hands on hips, really nice and grounded. Remember that scissoring action, so left hip back this time, right hip forward. Maybe you start to lift your hands up overhead for a breath. Again, option to stay here in stillness, so nice and rooted. That maybe is what you needed. Maybe that's what you're planting, is more stillness. Maybe you're letting go of being still, of being in that winter hibernation mode, and you're inviting in more fluidness, more movement, more flow. If that's the case, perhaps you'd like to take Garudasana arms. So you can bring your wingspan out wide, and then this time bring your left arm underneath your right, reaching for opposite elbows. You can stay here in stillness. Perhaps if you'd like to flow, you can inhale to bring your heart up towards the sky, arching through your back. Exhale to lower down onto the inside of that bent left knee. Inhale to come up. Exhale to lower. So moving with your breath, finding that really smooth, fluid, flowing motions on the inhales and exhales. Take one last round if you are moving. Everyone can come up, finding stillness. If you have Garudasana arms, you can release those now. Bringing your hands to your hips. This time we're going to swing that right foot behind us so that we're in this low Vira 2, Warrior 2 on the other side. Hips are squared as much as possible. Our shoulders are over our hips, and then we can bring our wingspan out wide. Looking over those left fingertips if that feels okay on your neck. Welcome to stay here in stillness. If you'd like to flow, inhale to reach forward, flip your palm. Exhale to sweep it on back. Back arm might come to your thigh, your calf, the earth, as you open up through those hips. One more breath. Inhale to come all the way back up. Exhale, land your left forearm onto your left thigh as you swing that right arm back and through. Maybe you lift your gaze towards those right fingertips. Maybe you start to spin your heart open. Inhale to come all the way back up. Exhale to windmill your hands down, framing the left foot, bringing the right foot back into tabletop position. You can stay here and bring the left foot back into tabletop. Maybe you tuck the toes, lifting the right knee, bringing the left foot all the way back through plank. You can lower down halfway or all the way. Inhaling into high cobra or low cobra. Exhale, tuck your toes, lift your hips, downward facing dog. Take 3 long breaths here. Okay, we're about 20 minutes into movement. So you can have one last push here, which is we're going to move through that whole sequence again with option to keep the knee lifted. You can also repeat the exact same one we just did. So you might even rewind back if you found it helpful to see me on my knees, or you can flow with us now with your knees grounded. You can also skip this and go to the cool down. I'll have all the timestamps in the comments so you guys can decide what you need, okay? So if you're ready to flow, inhale to extend your right leg out behind you. Exhale to look forward, step your right foot to the outside of your right hand. Let's stay here. We're just going to find a little bit of fluid movement, rocking around those back toes in a circular direction, going both ways. And then find stillness, and then heel toe that right foot in, keeping the toe, staying on the toes of that back foot, left knee lifted. Inhale to come all the way up into high lunge. Right hip comes back, left hip comes forward, shoulders down, come down the back. Hands can also find your hips here, okay? You can stay here in stillness. Maybe this is the mindfulness. Maybe this is what you need. If you'd like to flow, if there's something that you're working to release energetically, you can bring your wingspan out wide, bringing your right arm underneath your left. Inhale, we're going to reach back. Also welcome to take stillness. Exhale to dip to the inside of that right knee. Inhale to come up. Exhale to lower. Take 2 more. Inhale up. Exhale, lower. Inhale up. Exhale, lower. Inhale, come all the way up. Exhale, open your hands, bring your hands to your hips, ground that back left foot so that you find warrior 2. You stay exactly as you are. I'm going to turn around so that I can see, or you can see me rather. I guess it doesn't matter, you can hear me. It's just a habit from teaching in-person classes. So for your warrior 2 foundation standing, your heel is intersecting the middle of your back foot. The distance between your feet will be different depending on you and your body. Typically it's about closer to mat distance. My legs are a little bit longer, so yours might look shorter. And then you're going to bend into that right knee. You want to twist your body so that your shoulders are stacked over your hips, so we're like really tall through the torso here. And then you want an equal amount of weight through your back foot as there is into your front knee, so you're like as if you're energetically tearing your mat apart. And then you can bring your wingspan out wide. Gaze might come over those front right fingertips if that feels okay on your neck. You can stay here in stillness. If you'd like to move, inhale, reach forward, flip your palm. Exhale to sweep it on back. Gaze might lift to those front fingertips. Maybe you bend a little bit deeper into that front knee. One more inhale and exhale. Inhale, come all the way back up. Exhale, land your front forearm onto your front thighs. You swing that back arm up and through. Gaze might come towards those top fingertips. One breath here. Inhale to come all the way back up. Exhale, we're going to windmill our hands down to frame that front right foot coming onto the toes of the left foot. You might lower the knee, or maybe you just drag that right foot all the way back, finding plank. Inhaling to come forward, land the knees. Exhale, bending into the elbows halfway. Inhale to come into low cobra or high cobra. Exhale, tuck your toes, lift your hips, downward facing dog or child's pose. Take 3 long breaths there. Notice how a little bit of heat can stir things up. Think about boiling water. What happens when water boils? It moves. It's the same with us. When we add heat into our system, things start to move. That's what we want. We want to move things. Next, inhale, we'll switch sides. So bring your left leg out behind you. Exhale, look forward, step that left foot to the outer edge of your left hand. Both hands to the inside of that left foot. Staying lifted on those back right toes is an option, or you can bring the knee down. If you're lifted, find those circular motions through that back right heel, moving in one direction and then the other direction. And then find stillness, heel toe that left foot in towards the middle of your mat. We're gonna come up into a high lunge. Hands can reach or come towards your hips. Right hip forward, left hip back, bending into that left knee as you get really grounded through those back right toes, lifting through the knee, activating from the glute all the way down to your calf. You can stay here in stillness, okay? Same options as the other side. If you'd like to find your Dasana arms, this time bring your left arm underneath your right. Inhales, we're gonna find lift through the heart. Exhales to forward fold to the inside of that left knee. Inhale to come up. Exhale to come down. You can also choose to bring the knee down at any point. My balance is a little bit off, so I can keep moving. Take one more round. And then come up through stillness. Open your hands. Bring them to your hips. Ground that back right foot so that it's parallel, intersecting so that the front heel is intersecting the middle of your back right foot. Bend into your left knee. Check in with your torso. So we want to be hips over our heart over our hips, our shoulders over our hips. Bending into that front knee as you push into that back right foot, energetically ripping your mat apart as you bring your wingspan out wide, shoulders come down your back, gaze might come over those front left fingertips. Welcome to stay here. If you'd like to move, inhale to reach forward, flip your palm, exhale to sweep it on back. One deep inhale and exhale in this shape. Inhale to come back up. Exhale, lower your front forearm onto your front thighs. You swing that right arm back and through. Gaze might lift towards your front right fingertips. Maybe the heart opens. Next, inhale to come all the way back up. Exhale to windmill your hands down towards the mat, framing your left foot, coming onto the toes of that back right foot. You decide, you can take a vinyasa, down dog, or child's pose. If in vinyasa, inhale, lower through the knees, lower half dana all the way. As you exhale, inhale to come up. Exhale, tuck your toes, lift your hips, downward facing dog. And then everybody can lower their knees, bring them out wide, toes to touch. Reach your hands out in front of you as you bring your forehead towards the earth. As you bring your forehead towards the earth, or a block, balasana, child's pose. Take 3 more breaths exactly as you are. On your next inhale, start to pull yourself up fluidly and slowly, finding tabletop. And then you can come down onto one hip. Bring your feet out nice and wide. And then inhale to extend through your arms. Exhale, you're just going to bring them down wherever they land. My bridge lands here, so I'm going to bring them here. But you might reach for your for your ankles, your big toes. Maybe you reach out into the earth in front of you. Maybe you bring a block or 2 underneath your forehead. Taking a few breaths to feel the water moving in and out of your system, to feel the heat you built, to notice what is leaving your system. Next inhales, you can start to restack your spine, coming up into a tall seat. You can move any blocks that might have been underneath your head. And then you can bring your feet into touch, knees out wide, butterfly legs. Bukasana? Bukasana? I forget the Sanskrit word. I think it's something like that. I should know it. Anyways. This is what you get when you're with me live too, eh? I don't edit this is it. This is what you get. This is me, yoga teacher. I'm gonna cut all this out. Maybe I won't. Okay. Inhale to draw your chest forward as your elbows come towards your belly. And then exhale, just start to lean forward. So we want to keep a tall spine. We're not collapsing and rounding quite yet. We want to inhale to find length. Push the hips back as you draw the crown of your head forward. Elbows come towards your belly. Lean forward. So we're just leaning here. Take one more breath exactly as you are. And now you can collapse. So bring your elbows out wide, round and dome through your back as you let the weight of your head go. You might sink down a little bit closer towards your feet. Getting long through the lower back as you spread through your shoulders. Releasing any gripping. We have the shoulders bound into each other a lot today, so now we're giving them a little bit of space here. Next inhale, come all the way back up. You can help with your hands, bringing one leg in and then the other, landing the soles of your feet. You can stay here. Maybe you bring your hands out in front of you, reaching in front of your shins. Maybe you bring them under you, reaching underneath your thighs, giving yourself just like a little bit of a hug wherever you are. You might tuck your chin in. And then inhale, come all the way back up. You can crisscross your legs into Sukhasana. Inhale to reach your hands up overhead. Exhale to land your right hand beside you as you reach and extend through that top left arm. So just like the beginning of class in yoga, we do the 6 movements of the spine at the end as well. We really have to take care of our backs. They're what ties everything together. Inhale, come all the way back up. Exhale, just switch sides. Left hand lands as right hand reaches. You're staying rooted through your hips here as you reach through that top arm. Maybe your gaze comes under that right armpit. Inhale to come all the way back up. Exhale here. And then inhale to reach. This time we'll twist. So exhale to bring the right hand across your thigh as your left hand lands behind you. Getting really tall through the spine. Your gaze might come over that back left shoulder. It feels okay. One more breath. Inhale to come all the way back up. Exhale to spin to the other direction. So left hand coming across your thigh, right hand out behind you for support. Gaze might come over that back right shoulder. Inhale, come all the way up and reach. Exhale to bring your hands beside you. And then you can start to roll all the way down onto your back. Once you land on your back, you can bring your feet in close to your sit bones. You can bring your hands down beside you. The idea is that maybe we can tickle the heels of our feet with our fingertips, but if you can't, that's okay. And then with the feet planted about hip distance apart, on your next inhale, you're gonna push into your feet to lift your hips away from the earth. You also want to energetically squeeze the hips together as if there was a block in between your thighs. Squeeze your thighs together as if there was a block there. So we really want to activate like your inside of your thighs, your glutes, your hamstrings to keep us nice and lifted. I'm just also making sure the mic isn't right on my mouth. Take one more breath here and then exhale, lower all the way down. You can take any last little movements here. So you might reach for the outsides of your feet, happy baby, rocking back and forth. Maybe you bring the knees in together, a hug on your back, with some rocking motions as well. And then take 2 to 3 breaths. We'll do a savasana together. So you can bring your feet out as wide as your mat, letting the heels flop open, the hips open up, and then your arms you can bring out wide too. You might also tuck one shoulder under and then the other to get some lift through your chest. Perhaps you find a little bit of a tuck of your chin. And then stay exactly as you are. Start to notice everything that we took stock of at the beginning of class. So the mind stuff, what's moving in your mind now, what's flowing between your ears. Are your eyes still open? Perhaps you could close them down, moving a little bit more inward, or just blur your gaze if that feels safer for you. Notice your breath. Are you still controlling your inhales and your exhales? Do you still have that ujjayi breath? Perhaps you could let that go now, returning to your regular rhythm of breathing. And then release a little bit more into the earth. Let go of your tongue from the roof of your mouth. Unclench your glutes. Release all the tiny little muscles in and around your face. Sink down as if you're water running into the earth beneath you. Flow down into what is waiting for you. The seed that you're planting, that you're cultivating for this coming spring that's just around the corner. And as you travel towards that seed into the earth beneath you, I'm going to offer you some mantras to repeat to yourself silently in your mind. I am always safe. I love my body. My home is safe and secure. I am grounded. I am secure. My future is secure. I am abundant. The universe will always provide for me. I am shown each step to take. Life loves me, and I love being here. I claim my energetic footprint. It is my birthright to receive support in all forms. I claim good health. I claim abundance. My needs are always met. I am anchored and connected to Mother Earth. I am a divine being of light, and I am safe, protected, and secure. Stay exactly as you are. Let's take 3 cleansing breaths here together. So deep inhale through the nose. Exhale to sigh. 2 more. Deep inhale to fill up. Exhale to let something go. Last one. Deep inhale. Exhale, sigh. If you'd like, you might stay exactly as you are and take a longer savasana. If you'd like to close this class in a seated position, you can start to reawaken your body by wiggling your fingers and your toes. You might roll out your wrists and your ankles. On your next inhale, you might take a long stretch, so reaching your hands overhead behind you as you draw your legs in together in front of you on your inhale, and then exhale to let it all go. And then you can roll over onto your favorite side, coming into fetal position. So drawing your knees into your chest, laying your head onto the earth or your bicep. And then you can roll all the way up into a seated position. Once you find a seated position, you can decide how your hands land. So maybe you feel like you need a little more grounding after moving. Perhaps you feel like you want to receive. You've let some stuff go. You're ready to see what's coming for you. You might have palms open to receive. Maybe you still want to be a little bit rooted in you. So you bring your hands to the body, maybe over the heart, or one hand on your heart and one hand on your belly. Then you can have a tuck of your chin towards your chest, sending yourself a little bit of gratitude. Maybe sending some gratitude to those practicing with you virtually. It's really nice to see all the comments and see people sharing. It's my dream to cultivate such a safe community, a place to share and be vulnerable and to, just to be in each other's energy. It's really, really amazing. And I'm so proud of each and every one of you for showing up whenever you need it, exactly when you need it. If you're showing up to this video a week late, I'm proud of you. If you're showing up to this video a month late, I'm proud of you. Just showing up. The rest will fall into place. If your eyes are open, you can start to blink them back. If they are closed, you can start to blink them back open. Maybe you find Samasiti Anjali Mudra, prayer. And that's it. Thank you so much for practicing with me, and I will see you next time. Bye.